What's going on, y'all? Back at you once again for some more videos. It's a nice, hot Saturday afternoon. If I had the peak time. And today, I'm going to answer a question that I've been asked for years. And I just never really came up with a good answer, but I kind of figured it out. For years, I've always been asked, Chris, how do you come up with your ideas? Like, where do you get your ideas from? Like, what is your inspiration for these ideas? How do you come up with them? Do you think about them? Do you sketch them out? Do you watch something and see it? Do you just come to you naturally? I'm about to answer all that. The simplest and most honest answer is actually yes. Yes to all those things. I see something that I like, it inspires me, I draw it. When I see other artists creating something that inspires me, it gets me motivated to do it. But how I actually come up with my ideas, it's kind of a couple of ways, but I'm going to give you just one for now. Give you one main way that I do it a lot. Okay. Usually, it starts off the idea just starts off out of the blue. Just a random idea. I could be in the car, going down the road, and all of a sudden, I may see a truck come by the opposite way. I don't know, just give an example. And that truck will click something within me that inspires me to do some kind of piece. It could be based on perspective. It could be something I might want to paint. Things of that nature. Well, how I go about it is, a lot of the times, my brain works so fast that I'm able to come up with the entire idea in that moment. And that happens a lot. That's how my brain works. My brain works that fast where I could see something and automatically have an image in my head that I see the whole image at one time and I create it. That happens. Or what I could do is sometimes, if there's some things that I want to edit, because a lot of my ideas, my editing, actually done in my head. When it comes to the majority of my ideas, I rarely put them down on paper. Now I know sometimes they don't always work out well, but some people can do it, some people can't. A lot of the drawings that I posted on my social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, a lot of those drawings are actually I call them one-take drawings, where what you saw was what I had in my head at that particular moment, and I had it completely mapped out in my brain, and I put it on paper right then and there. No erasing, no do-overs, no sketching, just the sketch and the final product was done in my head. And when the time came, just put it out there. That's how a lot of my drawings are done. And that's mainly due to the fact that for a long period of time, throughout my life, I didn't have any sketchbooks. And there were times where I didn't have access to paper, like Xerox with copy and paper and stuff like that. I didn't have access to it, so I had no choice but to keep the idea in my head until I was able to go home and put it on paper. But even still, that was the final drawing. Usually with a sketchbook, you sketch the idea out and it's a rough sketch. You do a whole lot of erasing, just a whole bunch of ideas you want to put out. And you do your sketches on your sketchbook, and when you do the finished product, you may put it on a piece of paper or a canvas. Well, with me, I didn't buy my first sketchbook until maybe 2001, 2002. Yeah, about 2001, 2002. I didn't buy my very first sketchbook until 2001, 2002. So, me born in 1983, and as early as I can recall, my earliest drawing was done when I was 2 years old. So that's 1985. So from 1985 to 2000, to the year 2000, I had no sketchbooks. All I had was paper and a pencil, and if I lost a drawing, I just lost a drawing. I didn't have any books or sketchbooks to put them in to keep them for record. So once I did a drawing, that was it. And if I lost a drawing, that was it. So I had no choice but to keep these ideas in my head to the point where I can still remember the drawings that were in my head, but I didn't put down on paper. And what usually happens is, when I have an idea in my head and I finally draw it out or paint it out, the idea is gone. It's no longer in my mind because I not put it on canvas or paper on a sketchbook. But the drawings that I still have in my brain that I did not put out, I still remember. And every day I'm thinking about whether or not I should put that particular idea on paper or on a sketchbook so I can finally get out of my head. But there are still drawings I remember from when I was a little kid. Ninja Turtle drawings. I was a big fan of Ninja Turtles. Still Ninja Turtle drawings or comic book drawings that I wanted to do, but I didn't do, and I still remember them. So that process of remembering and that brain workout, that constant using my memory to keep an idea in my head, gave me the ability to formulate an idea and pretty much draw it out or sketch it out or paint it out in my brain, so much so that when it was time for me to actually produce the work, the idea was already complete. And I could do it one time and that's it. That's how my brain works. Now, I have sketchbooks now, so I'm able to put them in my sketchbooks when I want to. I'm able to, kind of go over ideas in my head where I think of ideas and I edit them and I redo them in my brain as I'm asleep. I could be asleep and the idea will still be in my head, and I would do the design in my brain while I'm sleeping. And then when I wake up, or if the idea is too good, if the idea was too good and it was too much for me to sleep on, I would wake up and I would sketch it or draw it right there. So that's just how my brain works. Some people may not agree with it, right? To each his own. But for me, years of having to keep an idea in my head and figure the idea out in my head and draw the whole thing in my brain so I wouldn't forget about it, led me to the process of drawing in my brain. The ideas, like I have ideas in my head right now. I'm actually working on a project of my own that, as we speak, I'm actually formulating the idea step by step, page by page, idea, drawing by drawing in my head as I'm doing this video. And when I get back to my house, I get back home, I'm going to continue to put these ideas out on paper. But that's how my brain works, and that's what I'm doing right now as we speak. I'm doing an idea in my head as I'm doing this. So yeah. So for those who want to know how do I create my work, there you have it. All right. Find out what works for you. If that works for you, do it. If it don't work for you, hey, try something that does. All right. I'm out, y'all. Peace.